Hi, my name's Kevin, and I have a first grader at Patton Elementary here in Austin, Texas. And I was trying to understand how the AISD school consolidation was going to affect both my family and our large community. And to do so, I set about putting all of the data into Scribble Maps, which is a platform I'm using to build the maps to be able to compare um, the old and new boundaries and see what's changing for different groups of students around Austin. And so I wanted to do a quick overview of how you can use Scribble Maps to understand what's going on for your part of town and the larger community. So this is what it looks like when you first load it up. For now, I'm going to turn off this student cohorts by feeder pattern layer and just look at some of the simpler layers of data. So to start off with, there are three layers, one for high schools, one for middle schools, and one for elementary schools, so you can see the actual locations. And if you click on a school, it'll pull up the uh, address, and you can click on that, and it'll give you direct driving directions from your location to that school to see how far it is away. Um, and you can compare. Uh, so these are the current elementary school boundaries, and if you hover over, you can see which school it's for. And then you can also overlay the new feeder patterns, the new proposed uh, draft proposal um, boundaries, and see how they changed. And you can turn them on and off. And I was finding it hard to really understand what's going on with the different boundaries, especially when you factor in that there are different boundaries for elementary schools and middle schools and high schools, and that they're all changing. And so what I did is I created this student cohorts by feeder pattern layer, which is these white boundaries. And these basically take into account all the different changes that happen at all the different levels, elementary, middle, and high school, and basically make a little white box, a little polygon for every group of students that is different than the groups of students next to it. And so I'll use my daughter goes to Patton, but I'll use Mills as an example. It's this blue box here, just because it shows a few things kind of clearly. So if you hover over, you can see where this is the current feeder pattern for this group is Mills and then Small and then Bowie. And under the draft proposal plan, it is Mills and then Garitsky and then Bowie. And so uh, all of these blue boxes are part of the students that currently go to Mills. And if you turn the new box, you can see the new Mills boundary. And mostly it didn't change, um, except for this group of kids that used to go to Kiker got pulled into Mills, and then this area down here got switched from Mills to Kiker. But this is just a park and a business district, so nobody actually lives here, so that this part doesn't actually matter. Um, but the thing, Mills is a good example. The reason I'm using it is because when you compare this is the old elementary school boundaries, and when you show the the old middle school boundaries, you can see that this part of Mills um, used to go to Garitsky, and this part used to go to Small for middle school. So it's one of the schools that was already split between two different middle schools. But in the end, all of the kids here end up back at Bowie High School together. Um, and so this is where the split was in the old maps. And in the new maps, they changed the split so that now it splits here. And so basically they traded these kids that were expecting to go to Small out of Small and put them in GMS. And these kids that were expecting to go to GMS got pulled out of there and are now going to Small. And it's those are some of the sorts of boundary changes that these maps make a lot easier to find and understand. Um, and so that's part of why I spent all this time building this. And so if you want to look at a specific uh, area in depth, one of these little cohorts, you can click on it and basically see lots of different data about that specific area. Um, And so the current chain where the current feeder pattern shows Mills small buoy for here, and then Mills GMS buoy is the draft plan. And then this legend is a very abbreviated version because there wasn't that much space of what all of these numbers and values are for each of the current and proposed schools. So like current elementary school is Mills, and the capacity is 786 students. The residency utilization, the percentage of people that are zoned to the school that actually go to the school is 70%. The enrollment utilization is the percentage of the capacity that is used by kids that are actually enrolled in the school. And so that factors in transfer students. And so you can see how many students are transferring in, how many students are transferring out. And then in the parentheses here, we've got the population utility in 2024. Sorry, population utilization in 2024. And so under the current plan, it's 74%. Under the draft plan, it would be 97%. And then at the end, it's got the recently released 2025 TEA grades for each of the schools. And so it's a lot of data, but it's all there if you want to be able to look at it easily and try and understand how different parts of the map are affected differently. Um, and so there are lots of choices that they made on the maps that are somewhat hard to understand, at least from my perspective. And so, things like this don't matter when this little part, like in a lot of places, it seems like they tried to align things based on um, major roadways. So, like, this is Slaughter Lane, and you can see that the Mills boundary now lines up nicely with it, as does the difference between the Boone and the Kiker district. Um, but here is an example of where we can use the neighborhood data that's really helpful. Um, so there's another layer of data that I was able to get from the city of Austin is this neighborhoods plot subdivision data. And so you can see all the little plots of subdivisions that are all around Austin. And so this example this is the Sendera neighborhood, where just north of Slaughter there is Sendera, and then just south of Slaughter is Sendera South, which all of these kids grow up going to the same pool, um, and this is a situation where a neighborhood that was, if you look at the current maps, um, everyone was zoned. Turn this off. They were all zoned to go to Cowan over here, and now all these kids that grow up, playing together at the same pool, get split between Boone and Kiker, um, just because there's a large road uh, in between, and it makes a the boxes on the old maps don't look quite as pretty as the boxes on the new maps. Um, Sorry, wrong one. So here are the old maps, and here are the new maps for elementary schools. And the boxes look much more squarish in many cases, but um, people have built their lives around these feeder patterns for a long time, and so um, moving lots of them without a really good reason, uh, I don't personally understand. Um, anyway, so those are some of the ways in which you can use this data. There are some other data sets as well. Um, an example is if I turn off elementary schools, you can look at um, this is a heat map of student density, and this is a situation where I couldn't actually get the data for all the students are from AISD directly, and so I had to just basically take an image from one of their PDFs and overlay it. So it lines up really closely. It's not quite perfect, but you can see, where the large populations of students are for the 2024-2025 school year. And so and you can, turn on and off different layers to see where those different cohorts of students um, line up. And this map, the heat map, has um, these are the old elementary school boundaries that were already in that image. Um, so that is the main, most of the stuff you can do with the scribble maps we have set up. I'm probably going to be adding some more things to it before too long, including when the new maps from AISD come out on October 31st. There should be another revision to the draft proposal, and I'll be getting those out as soon as I can. But for now, this is what's available, and please feel free to explore the data. And if you'd like to get involved with our little group of basically parents from different neighborhoods that are trying to advocate for changes uh, to the draft proposal, uh, please reach out to us on. We have a website at align southwestaustinschools.com, align SW austinschools.com. So please come see us there and get in touch. Thanks so much. Have a great day.